back to Brother Wolf, Sister Moon Divination. Hello, my dear fellow spirit workers. It's been a minute, and my gypsy spirits whispering to me to do a reading. So here we go. So I'm going to do this row, and this row. Okay, so you can watch the whole thing, or just go to whichever row you are drawn to. Okay, so let's get started. Wow, so I'm always intrigued when the messages come out. They're always so unique, even though it's similar cards, or there's only so many of these gypsy cards in the deck, but their combinations tell all these different stories. So this has to do with the home life, going on a journey, or having returned from a journey. The focus of this is merry men, and it looks very romantic. And then right next to that, we have anger. This could also, if it's related to this, be something to do with jealousy. And then in the end, though, it's totally not valid, because you are both faithful to each other. Yeah. So it's just asshole people with their 2 cents stirring the pot to make trouble out of envy or jealousy. Yeah. So shield yourself from that. Don't get your emotions stirred up. Avoid any kind of conflicts. And I also see this as a retreat, an emotional retreat. It's needed. Yes. So pamper yourself, get through this, do those spiritual baths that we've talked about in this channel many times, and things will smooth over within 3 days. So I would do that bath for 3 days in preparation, and heal yourself from upset emotions in the story. Okay, that was that first row. Now let's move on to the next row. So this was the second row. This is an intense reading, I'm not gonna lie. So maybe you need to hear this to protect yourself, or you're dealing with this. So something to do with money, heartache, the law getting involved, and then something to do with maybe a visit. But I see strings attached. It's not like a genuine, it's for some scam. So you really need to protect yourself. So, Spirit, what can they do? It's a setup. Taking advantage of someone feeling sad to take their monies, and the laws and all this. So a 7-day green bath. A 7-day green bath. So water, colonia, cascarilla, cocoa butter, splash cologne, I might have said that already, and then something green. So you could put basil, yes, mint, cinnamon. Okay, and that's it. 7 days. You're going to take an egg and pass it all over yourself, and then bring it to a crossroads and break it open in the crossroads, and leave, and don't go back to that area for a while. Yes. So they want you to cleanse yourself with bacon would be good. a little dish of sardines in a tomato sauce. So you're going to pray over that as you're cooking to ask for help from the spirit of the crossroads. Okay. So the egg, cleanse yourself of the egg, rake it there, and then pass that little meat or whatever. You don't have to put it on you, but just pass it over you, right? So you don't get greasy or anything. And then just leave it. If not a crossroad, like a wooded area. Yeah, either way. 7-day candle. You're going to do a 7-day green candle. Petition to St. Jude. So let's do that prayer for St. Jude now. Also, you can put green, yellow, white flowers. No. Green and white only flowers. Most holy apostle St. Jude, friend of Jesus, I place myself in your care at this difficult time. Help me know that I need not face my troubles alone. I implore you, come to my aid and intercede on my behalf. And then this is where you're going to ask for your request. And then later you will publish something saying thanks to St. Jude. So this is a folkloric tradition that when people pray to St. Jude and he comes through, helps intervene and bring a positive change, petition to God on your behalf, you then must complete your side of the agreement, in a sense, that you've made this contract, and publicly publish thanks. So you could just say something as simple as, thank you, St. Jude, for interceding. My prayer was answered. Or just post a picture of St. Jude. It has to be an old tradition, and back in the day, people would submit a small line in a newspaper in the classified section to then just give thanks and publicly announce it as part of the fulfillment of the agreement. So certainly, I encourage you to do that. Also, follow up with the flowers and the other things that I mentioned before. Amen. Now, from a psychological standpoint, St. Jude is the patron saint of the impossible causes. So, certainly a powerful force, and millions of people consider him their patron saint, usually people who are in an impossible situation. And so in that we have to consider from a psychological standpoint. So a lot of times we are in those impossible situations. Somewhere in there is learned helplessness. So this is the tendency to just sort of give up. We feel that we can't solve the problem, and so we just succumb to accepting it or resigning ourselves. And so we have to resist that tendency. So in this story with St. Jude and impossible causes, last hope kind of thing, we should resist this, which probably accompanies this issue, is this learned helplessness. So we should resist that. So there's more power than you realize that you have at your disposal. You have powerful forces around you. Maybe you don't realize it. And so looking for strategies and not accept defeat, not giving up on your dreams, and pushing forward as even if it's a small success, even if it's just decluttering, even if it's just, some small little task or chore around the house can set in motion something positive and change your thinking. Okay, so consider that. Resist the tendency of learned helplessness. Yes, so that will work to resolve this problem, but just be careful and keep your mouth, closed when it comes to personal money things, sharing too much of your business with people you don't really know. Yeah, right? Don't do that. I'd lay low for a while for that other reading, yes? Yes. 7 days, baby. Yes. Okay, that's your message. So please, I encourage you, try it or do some element of that, and it's to help the situation. Third pile. Yeah, this is like a parallel. So maybe a different story. So mature lady, someone, a lawyer maybe, somebody playing with money or gambling. Someone seeing this new spark between this lonely person, maybe in a relationship they're not happy with, and a romantic tryst, unexpected, and then there's someone watching, jealous. And then we have the relationship card reversed. So there's either a delay, or if there's some kind of wedding, then it has to be delayed or will be delayed. And it's for the best. Yes. The way has to be just clear. Yeah, you have to clear the way around your house and your life. You're going to use salt water. Yes. And just splash that around your house a little bit, and your front porch, out the front door, out the back door. With a cleanser. So you're going to get some kind of floor wash. They have those at the dollar store, like those little, floral or lavender, little, colorful, cheap washes. I believe they're ammonia based. And then a little bit of that salt water. You don't have to drench the whole house with salt water. Just like, that's like you're putting a symbol of the ocean, cleaning and washing and moving things out. New, energy and cleansing focus and clearing the way. And eucalyptus and cinnamon. So you're going to get a pot of water, and then you're going to put, doesn't have to be too filled with water, small pot of water. You're going to take eucalyptus leaves, dried eucalyptus leaves. If you don't have that, you could always use eucalyptus oil, and then a pinch of cinnamon. The best is the real, chunky wooden cinnamon sticks, and you can grind that with a grater. And then let that steep. Don't let it boil over. Just let it steep, and slowly that oil of the eucalyptus and cinnamon is going to really change the energy for good in your home. Yes. So if you're getting this message, you already know what's going on. And okay, they want another card. Okay, sadness. This mirrors this card, but honestly, like a problem averted, really worse. That could have been worse. Yeah, doesn't seem like it now. Gift, but who is that from? A letter. Different person? Yeah. Second card. Okay, not this one. They want this one. So a message. So this is a positive message that changes the energy, and it's like a totally different set of people and situations. Yeah. So that's good. So do the wash around your house. Burn, steep that, wafting oil with the water and cinnamon, eucalyptus. And you'll keep an eye on it, and then just, once it starts really releasing all its oil, you'll know, and it'll really perfume the room. You can maybe, just turn the heat off and then waft it around gently and carefully. But just even leaving it off the pot, off the stove is fine, because it will permeate the air. So that would really help. Also some white flowers. White flowers. White candle for 4 days. White candle for 5 days. No. White candle for 3 days. 3 days. Things will improve and clear. So, bit of a whirlwind, but you'll get through. And so, do those recipe suggestions, okay? Let me close this one. So we good? Wonderful. So be well, everyone. Stay safe, stay calm, stay grounded. And remember, faith, hope, and charity. And as always, God is love.